Okay, welcome to this video of cutting the fins for the Phoenix out on a CNC router that I'm still learning how to use correctly. As you will see, I'll make a mistake, but it's easily repairable. And also I had a fan running, which made the audio really awkward at the beginning, and so I'm redoing this video for the third time. And also going to cut out some of the material. It's just a little bit long-winded when it don't need to be, which makes it not enjoyable. So I'm going to go ahead and narrate this front part as well. And there, what I'm looking at is the device that they allow you to run the CNC machine without the computer attached to it, because you got dust flying everywhere. And most people don't want their computer, even a laptop, anywhere around it. But I had to eventually go to the laptop for convenience. And here I am, I'm trying to find the center of this board. It's supposed to be a 12 by 12, but it's slightly under that. And so you mark it one way, come down the other way, and you find the center of it, and that will be the starting point. You got the option to either start in the lower left-hand corner or the center, and I find it just so much easier to start in the center than it does the other way. So once you get this marked, then the machine right now is on, I think, and it's definitely in the home position. And so with the computer and Candle software, you're able to put in the coordinates for a safe position. I guess that's for machines that don't have a home setting that's in part of the machine. But well, I guess for machines with limits, they get you always wind up with a home setting. Anyway, use that to find that point. It won't, there's little variations, and so it will put it real close to it, and then just fine tune it. Put the bit right on the home position, and it takes out about half the effort doing that. Here I'm tightening down these clamps that they're still not really happy with them. Sometimes I cheat and use screws in the corners. I don't call it cheating, it's just a different way of doing it. I got little tiny millimeter screws with pan heads on them, and you put them in out of the way of the router. That big piece behind the bit there is what causes it to crash into these clamps. I've been good so far, but you'll see when I start this thing, I got my hand on the stop button as it races towards that left corner. Sometimes if you forget to put the coordinates in, I mean, you got the machine at the coordinate, but you got to set that as the new machine coordinates. If not, it'll think it's at home and just go racing towards that corner and run right over everything. So you got to be ready to stop it. So I'm getting close to the end of where I started narrating before. So instead of running over it, I'm just going to say that we're ready to not redo what I've already redone, and redo again. Okay, I'll keep turning my head away from the microphone and the camera, so I'm going to go ahead and just narrate this part of it so that you can understand what I'm saying. What I'm messing with now is a little remote control or local controller that allows you to run the machine without the computer. I've since stopped using that. The cable on it is short, the way you have to place the power supply or controller board assembly, and it makes it awkward to use it with your arms stretched out further than my vision can see. And I was puny last night, so I got a little bit of a sore throat. You just have to excuse me today, please. So what I'm doing now is trying to bring the thing up to the dot I made up halfway of the board, and that would be the starting point for the CNC cutting, so it knows where everything is in relation to that center mark. But since I've started using the computer and I'm trying to think of the name of the program, Candle, I guess it is, you can set that as like a safe position. So from home, which where the machine was at, You just hit save position and it will run up very close to it, then fine tune it the last few halves of a millimeter. And that works so much better. And the computer, you ain't got to twiddle around with something that's too far away. The people should have either made a longer cable or they should have put that interface junction point on the front of the machine instead of the back of it. And the reason I call it the front of the machine, because that's where the stop switch is. So if it was all the way at the back, you'd have to reach and get it. So then Candle has its own stop switch on the computer. So I recommend that's freeware. It's easy to find and easy to use. And it just takes the computer and sends the coordinates to the CNC as it's running. So you say I'm trying to find if I'm looking at it at an angle instead of straight above it, I'm trying to make sure it's right on it, because I'm worried about the back limits, which I should be, because as it goes back and cuts the third fin, it's going to hit the back limit switch and just stop. So, like I said, that's easy to recover from. And what I'm doing now is writing down the coordinates, the actual coordinates where the machine is, so that if I need those, I could also have them. It's kind of, when you're using this little remote interface, it's important. On the computer, it's not. And these clamps are good. I mean, they really get a hold of it, but as you can see, the front ones are not really attached to the board the way they should be. And if I moved like this front right one, if I moved it, turned it around, it would be in the way of this square piece that's behind the cutting bit, and it would crash into it. Now, I was really cheat a lot of times and just drill 4 holes into the waste board and the piece I'm working on and put in very small little screws right in the corner, and they work good too, especially the thicker the material is, the better they work. Now, now the important step of finding the Z mark. You take a measurement of this black thing that's laying there, and it knows how high it is, and so it'll bring the bit down to it just touches it, and then subtract the amount that you told it that Z detector was, and it knows exactly where the surface of the material is when it starts its cut. Good machines, really. This particular machine will take a full-size router, well, a small full-size router, a regular router, and that's what you see over here to the far right is a clamp that would hold that router in place. I don't plan on doing aluminum or really having any need for it. At least the motor on this one's a 300-watt motor, so it's definitely not got any problem cutting plywood and materials such as that. All right, well, we'll go with a little bit of noise, and then I'll turn the noise down, and then we'll go to some music to see the rest of it. And I cut out a bunch of it. Hopefully it won't bore you to death. Okay, I'm back. Part 2, worse than ever, right? The music's really enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll continue the series the next time with part 3, which will be back more to the building. Thanks for stopping by and looking. See you next time. Take care.